Decentering men is not a trauma response. Like, I hate that whenever a woman decides that they have an understanding of what's going on societally and they want to take a journey for themselves, that somehow that has to be tied to trauma. Like, these dudes have not traumatized a lot of these women who've decided decentering men is important.
That's not anything about.
So Willie, I think we're kind of missing the point, because women, they do need men on the planet. We know they would die in about 2 weeks or so, but they don't necessarily need to be tethered to a man, right? You don't have to be married. They don't need to be tethered to a man.
Women have not needed marriage for years.
If you work as a police officer, then you will by default be forced to protect women who are not tethered to you, right? That's what I say, that we've created a society, self-sabotage, it may be, that where they don't need to be tethered to a man, meaning they don't need a man to marry, they don't need a man for a relationship. They can simply ride a cock carousel to whatever
when you
they
say
want.
that, when you add the whole word, you didn't say tethered. You say they don't need men. They're decentering men. If you say that women don't need to be tethered to men, there's no argument there.
Women, we did give context though.
And the context still wasn't him saying that women don't need to be married and lead to anybody think they don't need to be married or tethered to men, which again I agree with. Women don't need men to do any of those things. Need to be attached to a man to do those things, because again, niggas will fuck anything. So women are going to always be able to get what they need from a man, regardless of if they're married to him or not, especially if she's attractive. So if women haven't had to get married to be men or to survive, I would say in our lifetime. Like, that's not a thing. I don't think that any woman wakes up or should wake up and say, you know what? If I'm not attached to a nigga, I'm not going to survive. That's not what any woman should think. I would say that some women, though, should say, well, you know, if I'm not attached to a man, I'm probably not going to thrive. Then that's different.
So to clarify, decentering a man is relationally, right? And I think that is the crux of what you're saying, right, Trev? Decentering meaning.
Yeah. I think everybody else called it. No doubt.
All right. I mean, I think it's interesting. I do think that it comes typically as a trauma response, just like the red pill community is a trauma response to bad mothers and relationships. So I do think that it's the opposite side, right? It's if you can't take responsibilities for making bad decisions in the men that you choose, then that means you need to go to therapy, fix your likes, dislikes, your traumas. And if you still do sexually are attracted to men, instead of just using the young ones who can break your back, find someone who actually aligns with you in the important ways, which is, you know, character, morality, goals, ambition, those type of things. That's just
BK, I got to stop you there just for real one point. These young boys that's breaking backs is not really doing that. There's a million 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds on the V's and the C's. They really do. Like, so it's not what you think. No, this is a real Viagra, Cialis, Rose Sparks, all those.
Well, that's from porn. You know what messes up.
Regardless of what. Yeah, well, regardless of what, they're not going to be able to perform like your average 40-year-old right now who didn't indulge in that, right, and didn't desensitize themselves since they were a teenager with the smartphone. So yeah, just
could you explain? Carry on. That's from porn. I've never heard that before.
No, there's a clinical research study that shows that porn messes up the oxytocin, endorphins, and all this jazz. And so by looking at it, it affects your libido.
Oh. I thought you were talking about they got using the V's and C's from porn, because I was like,
yeah, it leads to erectile dysfunction.
All right, so I don't want to go too crazy on that, but there is a lot of misinformation about what that does, what that is. It's bullshit. A lot of people tell
you don't believe in the research studies,
I've already done it. You can go. I'm telling you right now. I've looked into it. And I welcome you to. Please look it up and look at the myths of what people are talking about. They say, oh, well, you shouldn't release this many times and blah, blah, blah. Go look up what actually is healthy for a man. Everything is a balance. Of course, you couldn't go crazy. I wouldn't say do a dozen a day. You're probably going to be desensitized, but there's way less than what you think it is. A lot of what these young guys are doing is kind of like just survival, right? And if you don't do it enough, then you're at risk of certain types of cancer and all that. So I'll leave that alone. I don't want to go too much off topic, but when I hear poor information, I got to jump in.
Those niggas use V's and C's because of Mr. Marcus.
Wait,
that's crazy.
Whoa!
So
hopefully it wasn't because of Mr. Marcus. Damn it!
My hand raised after.
What's Mr. Marcus mean?
Hey, where's Miss Pearl at?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I don't know.
I'm befuddled and I
You
don't
say what, Miss Marcus?
Hey, we're gonna leave. So all right, I got one for y'all. Do men want peace without being disciplined?
Wait, can I get my point in before we ask a new question?
You sure may. Go ahead. I know you had more. Go ahead.
I did. I was raising my hand in the back. It's okay. Okay, so
hey, just say something. You know I can't read.
Okay, all right, no worries. So there's a couple things that I did want to respond to, but I will say like something that BK said. Decentering men is not a trauma response. Like I hate that whenever a woman decides that they have an understanding of what's going on societally and they want to take a journey for themselves, that somehow that has to be tied to trauma. Like these dudes have not traumatized a lot of these women who've decided decentering men is important. Therapy also, bringing that up as an example, would be a form of decentering men because you're centering yourself, your own mental health, your own wants, your own needs. A lot of times when you're in therapy, they're telling you to do shadow work. They're telling you to dig within yourself. That would be you centering yourself and decentering society and trying to find some truth from within. So I think like we need to destigmatize this idea of decentering men. And I do agree with Trev when it comes to that. I think it is working. We are getting to a point where we are, for the first time in society, starting to see the spinsters and the old maids tell their story. We're starting to see older women who never had children, never got married, speak. And we're hearing that it's not all terrible. So for the women who decide they do not want to get into marriages, they actually have someone to look to. But I also think on the other side, for the women who are in marriages and want to be married and are happily married, we also have examples to look to of women who are self-empowered and partnered with men, and we can make those autonomous decisions for ourselves. Do I want to be partnered? Do I not? And these are some people I can look to for potential advice, like on either side. And I think it's important that we're not saying decentering men means you cannot be with men. It is to center your wants, your needs, so you can actually be a better partner if you have one. When you decenter men, you are a better partner because you now know what you want. You've chose somebody based on what you think you're aligned with, and then you know how to support that person because you guys are aligned as two people, right? And I think we need to like bring that part into the conversation a little bit and stop with the like, you've been hurt and that's why you're a feminist BS, because I think that's just painting a wide brush.
I think the decentering men thing sound a lot like